Testing, testing. 1, 2, test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Welcome to TK Shutter Reserve. How's that sounding, my friend? All good up there?
All good.
Cool. This is Mike 2. You sound all good up there with this as well?
Yes.
Sweet. Awesome.
We all play the same game. The battlefield may look different, but between those painted lines, the feeling each of us get alongside our tribe. Let the moment sink in, then let it rip. The runs out wide, last-ditch efforts and clean sheets. The tap-in or rocket to the top bins. The eruption of the 12th player that sends shivers down your spine. It's in the way we celebrate, because football is everyone's game. Play football.
For over 25 years, HPG Homes have been helping South Australians build and own their dream home. Whether it's a house and land package, custom build or development, our HPG fixed price guarantee ensures no nasty surprises or price changes along the way. We're committed to quality, affordability and creating a way of life for you and your family. Fixed price turnkey. It's gotta be HPG. HPG Homes.
Puts in the penalty and wins the grand final for Campbelltown City.
Good evening and welcome to TK Shutter Reserve for this RAA MPLSA Round 8 clash between MetroStars and Adelaide Comets. I am your commentator, Mark Talbot, and alongside me is Simon Jimenez. Simon, how are you, mate?
Going well. Perfect weather for some football tonight on Saturday night, I think.
It is shaping up to be a beautiful night here on the east side of the city. Had to think about that then. We're going to quickly run through the lineups for this evening, starting with the home side. Number 1, Cody Ostrike. Number 4, Noah McNamara. Number 6, Fortunato. Number 7, Hamish Gowan. Number 8, Satira. Number 9, Windsor. 11, Woodfin. Number 21, Arby Mollis. Number 22, Jackson Walls. Number 23, Scott Nagel. And number 5, Chittadini. And starting 11 for the visitors, the Comets. In goal, Vaughan. Number 6, Vadanos. Number 10, Mavro-Lombardos. Number 11, Labasso. Number 17, Karkaferis. Number 18, Lobo. Number 19, Zacharakis. Number 21, Ikonomopoulos. Number 22, Park. Number 23, Stojanovic. And number 66, Luic. And on the bench for the two sides, respectively, number 3, Zapla. Number 12, Porter. Number 19, Cavuto. Number 20, Muhitira. Number 24, Rapuano. And number 30, Fowler for your MetroStars. And for the Comets, number 7, Dorsey. Number 15, Spadavecchia. Number 20, Lanzilli. Number 31, Palacis. Number 72, Deng Deng. And number 99, the reserve goalkeeper, Gianni Tramontine. And your coaches, if you don't know them already, I'm sure you do, those who are watching, Danny Greystone in the dugout for MetroStars. And Con Antonio for your Adelaide Comets. Simon, what are you expecting or hoping to see tonight?
Well, I had the privilege of watching MetroStars away at Mobbery Jets last week, and they were really patient. We didn't see much action till really late in the game. Once MetroStars got one up in the 60th-ish minute, that's when it sort of started to dial up with Mobbery piling on the pressure. Once they equalised, MetroStars really found another notch as well. So I think it's going to start pretty patient for MetroStars here tonight, and they'll just wait for their opportunity. But for Comets, they've been struggling a bit. We were sort of saying at the start they've been underperforming all season so far. So they're going to get a result. The last few weeks, I think, lost 3 out of the last 4 or something like that. They're going to start getting results. Yeah. After the start they had last season and some of the quality that they got, we should be seeing something a little bit better.
Yeah, as you just mentioned there, Comets 1 win and 4 losses in the last 5 games. So it's not good reading for them at the moment. They are without players. They are missing quite a number of players. I was chatting with Con Antonio Antonio before the game, and he was saying that they are missing a number of players. So, but they are on their way back, which is good. So the likes of Aladdin Irabona, he said it should be another couple of weeks away, and he'll be back in the squad, which is very good news for Comets.
Speaking of the returns, Scott Nagel back this week, which will be a big in, especially given the fact that they lost Christian D'Angelo, MetroStars, last week. Bit of a clash defending. He was having a pretty good game up until that. He was a pretty staunch figure in that centre-back position, but shoulder issue, and it sounds like he's going to be out a few weeks. He took a while in getting some treatment on the field and assisted off. So Nagel's back at the right time, I guess.
Yeah, I think Nagel played 45 somewhere last week, and I saw that challenge that sent D'Angelo flying, and I spoke with him before the game, and he's dislocated his shoulder, so he'll be out for a couple of weeks. Our match officials today: Curtis Wordsworth, our assistant referee Lee Pryor, and assistant referee to Ibrahim Saidi. And we'll take a moment here. There will be a moment of silence for the passing of a MetroStars member, George Latouris, his mother Deborah, passing away just recently. As the mascots there run off, and the players will do their pre-game handshake, and we'll have the coin toss very shortly, but a nice respectful moment there for the Latouris family. Condolences to them and the larger Metro family. It should be a very intriguing game, Simon. We know that Comets have been struggling. Metro, better form out of the two, but still not the best of form. They've won 2, drawn 2 and lost 1 in their last 5 alone. So it should be a very intriguing game for us here tonight.
I still think, though, even Metro haven't quite have the sting. I think that's what's that potency up front that's been missing for them. But just the way they move the ball and hold possession is really, really pleasing to watch. I think, they're top of the table at the moment, and I think that kind of shows with just the way they move it around and how well they gel. And one thing we didn't mention before as well is Fabian Barbiero still absent as well. I think I spoke to him last week. He suspected maybe another week or so. So without their experienced leader who celebrated his birthday last week, I still think they're playing quite well, although some room for improvement, as you said.
Yeah, I caught up with Fabian actually just before the game as well, and he said there'll be another, hopefully he'll be back next week or the week after, so not too far away from him. The issue that he had was a lot larger than what they'd all had anticipated. So, as we see here, the teams are going to switch around from what the sides they warmed up on, which will mean Comets in all white, kicking from left to right of your screens. And the home side Metro will be kicking from right to left. As we also, Simon and I, madly rush to make sure we've got our players in the right positions.
Well, I think I've got to throw this away now because mine was completely wrong.
Well, I know Metro's got a few wrong for Comets. As Curtis looks to get us underway, checks with all the players, everyone's ready to go. And away we go in this round 8 clash in the RAA NPLSA. There's a bit of a loose pass there from Woodfin, but in the end cleaned up by Nagel, and Metro will begin the game with the ball at the back, and I'm sure they will look to move the ball quite quickly as they do. Satira down the line, crosses it in. Here's Windsor. Luich is there to clean up and does so, but only as far as Gal. He recycles it, Nagel. Chittadini with his first few touches, who's been in fine form this season, Simon.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. I think he looked like he was going to score last week, to be completely honest, and one of the better players. He's sort of been supporting the strikers a little bit as well. It was a bit of a quiet week for both Windsor and Woodfin last week, but he was trying to see plenty of it.
As Park gets his head onto that and puts it out for a throw. Here's Windsor. Looks to get into the box and again cleared by Comets for a throw on the far side. Goes long and cleared by Comets, but only as far as RB Mollis, who gives away the free kick.
I thought RB Mollis has been pretty solid over the last couple of weeks too. Him and Hamish Gow both sort of like dual pivots last week in the centre of midfield, and I thought they did pretty well.
Yeah, RB Mollis he's been a bit of a revelation coming into this Metro side. When he came over, I thought he might struggle for a bit of game time, but since he's had his opportunity, he's really grabbed it and made that position his own alongside Hamish Gow in that sort of double pivot 6 role. Fortunato goes long, but it's cut out by Zacharakis. He keeps the ball, goes all the inside to Ikonomopoulos. In turn goes wide. And further wide to Park. Happy to keep the ball moving. Comes back inside to Ikonomopoulos. Switch to Vadanos, who is unable to get that one under control. And throw it all the way back to Cody Ostrike in the Metro goal, who will go long. Nope, changed his mind. Goes long eventually, looking for Chittadini, and finds him. Chittadini looking for Windsor with a great little flick, but Luich is there. And eventually clears down the line. Brought down by McNamara from Metro, and he looks to just recycle it and does so through Fortunato. Another switch from Fortunato, but Chittadini unable to keep that one in. And Vadanos to take the throw just in front of us here. Finds Mavrilan Bardos, who in turn finds Labasso and does very well to get away from 3. Goes inside, but then given away. One back by Zacharakis, and now Hamish Gow for Metro. Does well looking for Windsor down the line. A foot race, and Luich gets there, but Curtis pulls back the free kick for the challenge on Hamish Gow as he released that. Here's Fortunato for Metro. Out to Jackson Walls. Comes all the way back to McNamara, who's moved back into probably his favoured position at centre-back. He was deputising at left-back for a few weeks, Simon. So he'll probably be happy to be back in the middle.
I thought he did quite a good job there.
Oh, he did a fantastic job. He made the One Game at a Time podcast. He made their team of the week as left-back, I think, twice. So,
well, that goal last week certainly helped his cause.
It certainly did.
He's the sort of strong body you want in the middle off those corners, and he did the trick last week late.
It was very late. I think it was the 94th minute in the end he scored.
94th, 95th.
Yep. Here's Hamish Gow. Back to McNamara.
One thing I have noticed as well, with Nagel coming back into the side, giving Cittadini a bit of a chance to move around a little bit more. He's that great supporting winger on that left-hand side, but with Nagel there, it just gives him a little bit more freedom, and considering the form that he's been in the last few weeks, if you can have him float forward, that's a pretty good luxury to have.
Here's the throw. Cleared by Nagel. Speaking of the devil, we won't call him the devil, but as the saying goes, here's Labasso for Comets. Surrounded out by two Metro players, and Metro come away with it in the end. And that's felt there by Labasso. We'll see how he gets on. He's chatting with him before the game, and he's had a bit of a run of late with some injuries and whatnot, so he's happy to be on the park injury. Well, when I say injury free, he's got his hand heavily strapped. He busted his thumb at training a few weeks ago. It was a fracture and a break, and he spent a day and a half waiting for it to be put back into place because I had to put him under to put the thumb back in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it wasn't pleasant.
Yeah, I don't envy that.
So and he also had a back issue as well just before that, and he's back from that as well. So he's happy just to be relatively fit, apart from obviously the thumb. But
well, he got up a little bit slowly from that challenge before, and he was sort of grabbing his left ankle and just watching his body language over the last minute or so. He's, I think, still moving around a little bit gingerly, but we'll keep an eye on that.
Here's McNamara. Finds Mollis, who's having to chase that one down, but picks up in the right back position. And that's the thing you can say about the Metros team. There hasn't been a great deal of changes within their starting 11 from week on week. Here's Cittadini looking for Woodfin in behind and finds him. Woodfin's able to cross and does so. I know, hits it to the far post, but no one's there. Eventually Windsor makes it, and Windsor does very well, finds Walls, but he gives it away to Labasso. Labasso doesn't have many options, and Comets are forced to go back, and Luich is then forced to go long, looking on the far side for Lobo, but can't find him, and goes out for a throw. As I was saying, Simon, Metro very much able to keep a relatively same lineup, with only a change here or there. Obviously, we know Nagel was out injured, and now D'Angelo's out injured, but relatively, they don't have haven't had to make too many changes to their lineups each week.
Yeah, well, you can cop one or two changes per week, but Comets made 3 compared to last week, and we're doing a bit of a scramble just to figure out where everyone was at the start. Looks like they had changed positions a little bit, so not a position of comfort where they're having a scramble to find a place to put everyone.
Here's the Barca with the cross and cut out by McNamara for a throw. Going back to that, Simon, yes, you're right. They've had some... We were discussing this, and obviously they're missing quite a number of players, and probably the most high-profile player they're missing at the moment is Aladdin Irabona, who did an MCL injury, so he should be another couple of weeks away. I was chatting with Con before the game, so he said hopefully another couple of weeks and he'll be back, which would be a massive inclusion for Comets in their chase for finals. Currently sitting in 6th position at the moment, but I haven't checked the table after today's results.
Yeah, they were sitting in 7th at kickoff of this game, but that mid-table is so tight at the moment, so if you miss out on results in one game, things can change pretty dramatically. I think 12 points from about 4 or 5 different teams on that sort of lower to mid position on the table, so pretty tight at the moment.
And thanks to Sportal, One World LED and Sportal scoreboard. Quick round the grounds from the RAA NPLSA today was Adelaide Raiders and Para Hills drew 2-2. And Playford beat Adelaide United up at Mount Barker 3-1 at the Summit Sports Centre. Great for them to get out and about and play up there, which they've done every year. I think they play a game up there, which is great to see. And but unfortunately this year, Adelaide United unable to get the result they needed.
On the flip side, Playford would be happy with that. Just having a look, they're in 3rd spot at the moment, so coming up from State League 1, be pretty pleased with that.
There's Woodfin looking to get on the end of it, and Satira does. And he's hit the volley wide. Great ball in there from Cittadini in the end. And Woodfin just not enough height on him. But Satira who's also back from injury, able to get on the back end of that. And then last night, the results in the NPLSA last night was Adelaide City lost to Campbelltown 1-0 with a very, very late goal from Alex Mullen for Campbelltown to win that one. And Bacalla got their first win of the season against Modbury Jets 1-0 as well.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle for Westron's Bacalla, especially with something like 3 or 4 successive draws during the first few rounds, but good to see him get off the mark, get an actual win under the belt. Yes,
it is. Here's Ikonomopoulos, goes wide. Trying to find Park, but he's unable to reel that one in.
Speaking of Bacalla as well, of course, they were the beneficiary of a lot of Comets talent, which they're missing this year as well. So it's the other thing that they're sort of grappling with at the moment.
Yep, they've had a few inclusions from Comets. You had the results last night in the HPG Home State League 2 North last night. Port Adelaide played against Adelaide Atletico and won 3-0, which is a massive win for those guys. For Port, one of my former teams. Here's Windsor. Luic is there to tackle and does so. His Vadanos clears, but cut out by Gow. The ball comes loose and Chittadini gets there and wins the free kick. And then today, what have we got in the HPG Homes State League 1? Adelaide Blue Eagles 4-2 over Adelaide Cobras. Comets at Cove and Fulham drew 0-0 at the Southern Soccer Facility. Salisbury United back to winning ways over a 1-0 win over Pontian Eagles. West Adelaide 1-0 win over South Adelaide. Sturt Lions a 3-0 win over Vipers. And the other game in the HPG Home State League 1 is Adelaide Olympic and Cumberland United, which kicked off at 6 o'clock. So we'll see if I can find the results for those ones. In the meantime, we will look at this free kick. Chittadini and Gow over the ball. Gow goes for goal and hits the wall. Try to go near post. Satira for Metro, happy to pick it up and play all the way back to Fortunato. Here's Chittadini, wide. Cuts inside, looks for Windsor and finds him in the box. Windsor's going to cross and does so all the way through. And there's Satira, and he's able to finish for the first goal of the evening.
It was about the third time it's coming from that left-hand side, and on this occasion, someone there to receive it.
They've been threatening Metro down this side, as you said, Simon, and they've finally had someone at that back post.
Well, you've seen how dangerous they are from either wing, where that left-hand side been particularly fruitful. I think they were unlucky on a couple of occasions earlier tonight to not be able to exploit it, but right on time, they find themselves 1-0 up.
And now it's an uphill battle for Comets.
Well, just looking at their body language a little bit, I saw a few heads down, which, you want to see some motivation and a bit of energy to bounce back, but the initial reaction, one looked a little bit deflated, which is interesting. So I think a bit of a challenge here will just be to energise Comets and see if they can bounce back.
Luic goes long looking for Labasso, finds him. In turn, looks to go line, faced by Nagel, goes back to Vadanos, inside to Ikonomopoulos. Labasso goes wide. Here's Park. Lobo. He's brought down by Satira. And in the HPG Home State League 2 North, Elizabeth Grove losing 4-1 to Northern Demons. It was the only normal game. It was to a 5 and 5:15 kickoff, so I don't have those results yet. Comets look to swing it in and go looking far post. And there's Ostrike, takes calmly out to the edge of his box, and he looks to go long and to find Windsor. And Park in position, cuts it out. Finds Luic. Here's Vadanos looking for Zacharakis. Vadanos inside to Stojanovic, and crosses looking for Labasso, but cleared by Fortunato. Satira finds Chittadini. Chittadini under pressure straight away, but comes away with the ball very well when he looks to release Arby Mollis. But Mollis isn't going to get to that one before Vaughan, and Vaughan clears, looking for Park, but overhits, and Lobo does well to keep that in. Nope. Saidi on the far side. Assistant referee calls that one.
It's the first time we've really seen Comets attack with much conviction there, but MetroStars responded well, pretty calm.
And in the HBG home State League 2 South, Eastern United continue on their merry way of beating Adelaide Hills Hawks 4-1. Oh, it's gone through to Windsor. Windsor's 1v1 against Vaughan, and he hits it and puts it in. Makes it 2. You can't give Windsor that time and space inside the box. And they've beaten the offside trap. And what a good finish there from Windsor.
2 within the first 20 minutes. Very good start for MetroStars. And we're sort of wondering how Comets were going to sort of react, whether they could find that energy, and that's just defeating. Copying one on the counter-attack like that. Windsor just looked like he had a ton of space there. Looked across, flag was down, and he continued on his merry way and put it in the back of the net.
And a striker of his quality, he's going to finish that. Unfortunately for Vaughan, he can make himself as big as possible, but when you've got that much time and space, and that's the thing, everyone looked for the flag, but a late run from Windsor just completely beat the offside trap.
I thought Windsor had a bit of a quiet one last week, if I'm being completely honest. MetroStars just didn't need to utilise him a whole lot, but 2 this early in the game, very good start for him tonight.
Labasso cross is cleared by McNamara. Giardini, here's Woodfin, turns inside, looks to release Windsor, finds Windsor. He's greeted by 4 Comets players though, and eventually they clean up and go all the way back to Vaughan. And continuing those results for State League 2 in the South, Adelaide Uni beat Seaford Rangers 4-0. Western Strikers 4-0 over Mount Barker. And here's Satira again, away, edge of the box. He gets in, but cut out by Park, who's done a brilliant job there in tracking back, and was eventually knocked out for a throw-in on the far side. Adelaide Titans thrashing Noarlunga United 6-1 in that result in that game as well. So it's going to be, I tell you what, the ladders along these for these leagues is going to be looking very interesting when I get a chance to sit down and have a look at them. That's for sure.
Well, I'm having a look at the our NPLSA ladder at the moment. Of course, North MetroStars started at the top today, but with Adelaide City and Playford having already played, 20 points is what they're hoping to get up to today, which will be 3 points clear of number 2 Adelaide City. And 2 goals in at this point of the first half. It's a very good way to get things going tonight, and at the moment they just look like they're playing with a bit of extra confidence, and it's a very dangerous thing when you're up against MetroStars. It
certainly is, and that win for Campbelltown was a massive win last night against Adelaide City. Vaughan goes short, finds Luich. He goes long looking for Labasso and finds him in some space. Fortunato tracks him down, but he finds Park. Park goes all the way back to Karkaferis. Here's Hamish Gow. Strike.
I was just going to say, despite MetroStars strikers playing with a little bit of confidence at the moment, the other thing that Comets are going to have to deal with is how good MetroStars are at hold-up play as well. They're quite happy to just spread those central defenders out really wide and just take their time with things and just wait for an opportunity to exploit.
McNamara goes long looking for Woodfin in behind Park, and he finds him on the far side. Woodfin up against Park. Goes inside, but cut out by Karkaferis, and Satira knocks that out for a goal kick. One thing I did find interesting, I thought it might be a little bit, so I didn't think that they'd concede as easy as what they have tonight. Unfortunately, Comets have conceded 2 goals relatively easy. They've got the best defence in the league with 8 goals up until tonight, which is a fantastic defensive effort across the league. And they're, funny enough, equal with Metro and Adelaide City. So very, very defensively, they've been very sound up until tonight. And like I said, Metro have sort of put that to the sword a little bit in the first 20 minutes here.
Well, still a lot of game to be played tonight, but unfortunately for Comets, especially with Irabona missing, It's just that that sting that they have missing on the other side of the field at the moment. McNamara finds Chittadini. Looks to flick it onto Mollis. Or Winter, rather.
As Comets win the free kick there. He was certainly playing for that free kick there because he didn't really have a lot of options, did he? Luich finds Karkaferis. He goes long, looking for Lobo, but he dummies it. It goes all the way through to Park. Here's Park on the far side. He'll look to cross and does so, and cut out there by Walls and out for a corner.
That slide was really well timed by Walls.
And just another result, Adelaide Olympic in the State League 1, HBG Home State League 1. Adelaide Olympic 2, Cumberland 1. So massive win there for Olympic. Cumberland started the season really well, but started to falter a little bit. Here's Comets with the corner on the far side. They goes short. Not cleared all the way. And there's another touch. Labasso onto the bar. Walls clears. Comets can cross again. Lobo it looks to, but cut out by Mollis. And then he goes all the way back to Ikonomopoulos, who crosses as well. Finds Labasso in the box. He can't quite wrap his foot around that one. And it rolls all the way through to Ostride. But Metro very lucky there that Labasso couldn't get that header under the bar.
Yeah, things were a lot more frantic than we're used to seeing for MetroStars in their home 6-yard box.
Fortunato finds Woodfin. Woodfin back to McNamara. And Metro will keep the ball and build up slowly. He looks to switch and finds Walls on the far side. He's met by Lobo and wins the free kick. Lobo's not happy about that one.
Arms are flying, but it was a pretty firm bump in the end. But that's a dangerous place to have your MetroStars players loose. Just watching Nagel on the near side to us and Walls on that far side just seems like they maybe moved forward a little bit more, advanced a little bit further in this particular game, and it just gives MetroStars so much space to play with.
Mollis back to Fortunato. McNamara comes this side, finds Nagel. Nagel into Woodfin. Woodfin pressured by Ikonomopoulos and goes all the way back to Cody Ostrike. He in turn out to Fortunato and gets the ball moving again into the middle of the park. He looks to find Windsor but can't. Cleared by Comets. Here's Ikonomopoulos. In turn goes wide and Zacharakis can't bring that under control. Gow cleans up. Here's Ikonomopoulos again, does very well. Mavrolambardas back to Vadanos. Luich. Metro cut all his options out. It goes all the way back to Vaughan. Vaughan in turn goes long looking for Zacharakis. Gets the flick. And he wins the free kick. Hands in the back from Nagel.
Just in the lead up to that, I was a little bit surprised to see MetroStars with a bit of urgency moving it forward, given that they were very, very patient against Modbury Jets last week. I would have thought that's what we'll probably see at this stage when they're 2-0 up, but sort of caught out a little bit there with how eager they were to potentially find a third.
Here's Luich. Goes long looking for Zacharakis. He wins the header inside to Mavrolambardos. He in turn finds Lobo on the other side, on the far side. Lobo hits it with his left and he clears the goal bar and the net behind, and that's gone all the way into the training grounds. But much better from Comets though, Simon.
Yeah, holding a little bit of possession there and just managing to move it pretty well, especially in that central part of the midfield. Labasso's playing with a bit of gusto tonight, as he usually does, and you just get that feeling that if you find him in a little bit of space, then it's potentially going to be back of the net for Comets. Plenty of time to do it, but MetroStars not the easiest foe to do it against.
Here's Ikonomopoulos bringing the ball forward, and he's running to the wall of Mollis. Here's Chitadini, but Luic gets there first. Comets come away with it. They find Zacharakis on this side. Here's Vadanos. Luic. He's able to turn and goes wide to the other side to Karkafiris. Karkafiris goes long looking for Park. Cut out by Wolves and is offside. A little bit too eager there for Min Sung Park.
I really like the way they moved it around in the middle of the park there before. A few short passes, just open up a little bit of space, then play it back and try to get Park as an option on the wing there.
Here's Nagel, as you were saying earlier, playing very high, and that's the way Danny Grayson likes his fullbacks, to play high. Chitadini, Woodfin, Gow. Walls on the far side.
Just watching that, Woodfin had 3 different options to go to short there.
Here's Windsor. Finds Gow. Gow on his left. Crosses into a dangerous area, only as far as Woodfin, and Woodfin hits and blocked by Luic. Good recovery there from Luic, who mishit the first clearance. Here's Satira. Good to see him back from his injury during pre-season, I believe it was, in the end. Good to see him back on the park and playing. There's one player did notice it wasn't on the bench, and I'd need to find out why. It was Visser.
Didn't start last week either.
So he was on the bench last week, I think. Was he on the bench, or did he play?
I don't believe he even was on the bench,
yeah,
to
so
be honest.
Must be an injury there, because he was in some great form early in the season. So it's not bad being able to lose Visser in one way, and hopefully it's nothing serious, but bring back in Satira.
Yeah. Well, Visser on the right and Chinadini on the left.
They were fantastic at the start of the year. Here's Hamish Gow with his wand of a left foot. Will take this corner. Goes near post. He goes to score, and that was almost going in. Karkafiris there, just getting his head on that and knocking it wide.
I did notice last week MetroStars were bombing it right into that danger zone, and obviously they eventually had some success with that. So we'll see what they do from the other corner now.
This time Chitadini goes over with Hamish Gow, and I dare say Chitadini will swing this one in with the right boot. One arm up, and he goes near post. And gets all the way through, and it's gone in. Looks like Jackson Walls with the touch at the near post, and has sailed over Vaughan's head and nestled into the side netting.
Well, I'm glad Walls has claimed it, because I didn't see the actual touch they got. It looked like a funny little bounce, and it somehow ended up in the back of the net. But checking the watch here, just over half an hour in, and 3-0 up for MetroStars. Very good start for them on a Saturday night in the RAA NPLSA.
Thanks to One World and Sportal for all your LED indoor and outdoor solutions. Goes to 3-0. And MetroStars looking very comfortable.
Mentioned it before, but I was watching them since, just how they're still looking quite eager to advance the ball despite being 2-0 up. It'll be interesting to see what they do now, given they've got that 3-goal buffer.
Scary thing is, Simon, I think the way Danny Greystone plays is he will keep going and keep pushing and go for blood and go for as many goals as he can.
Well, it was always going to be a spicy contest between these two teams, so I'm with you on that. I don't think he'll be keen to let him off easy if he's got the option.
Yeah, just watched the goal back, Simon, and there was just this deft little touch from Jackson Walls as it bounced in. It bounced just in front of him. He was able just to get enough of a touch onto it to push it over the keeper in Vaughan, which is no easy feat, mind you. Vaughan is an absolute giant, and he'd done enough. Vadanos unable to keep that in, and the ball goes out. Comets starting to feel the pressure. Metro starting to turn things up a little bit.
What we mentioned just in that corner before the one that resulted in the goal, how fruitful it's been for MetroStars, just putting it right into danger.
near that front post. They're really targeting that front post inside the 6. Here's McNamara. Goes long, looking for Windsor. Windsor, ever-willing runner. Can't quite get there as Luich cuts that one out and does well to keep it in and finds Mavrolambardos. But Gow, as usual, comes out of nowhere and wins that one. Here's RB Mollis. I'm going to have to say this, but Simon, I think Noah McNamara is probably one of my favourite centre-backs in this league at this present moment in time. His form, the way he plays the game is just absolutely top drawer at the present moment in time. Here's Chittadini looking to get into the box and does. Onto his left, crosses, cut out there by Luich. He's been an absolute wall for Comets. If it wasn't for Luich, I think it could be a lot worse, and RB Mollis gives away the free kick.
Yeah, Luich is flying all over the place at the moment, but you mentioned Noah McNamara before that. You mentioned he's probably one of your favourite centre-backs. I think he's been one of my favourite left-backs as well.
He certainly can do it anywhere across the back lines, that's for sure. It's been very impressive. But, yeah, Comets, Luich has been an absolute... Well, I mean, they've conceded 3, but he's been fantastic at the back for them. I think it could be a bit worse if it wasn't for him at the back. Nagel goes all the way back to Ostrike.
Yeah, he's a very big player and quite athletic as well. He's able to get airborne and sort of stretch his body and win those tough balls.
Ostrike with a beautiful switch to Windsor. Windsor looking to get Woodfin in behind, but Vaughan out and claims.
They're trying to make his night tough, aren't they?
Here's Labasso. Goes all the way back to Vaughan. And one thing I was looking up during the week when I was looking at my stats and things like that. Here's Wall's blocked. The goal scored for Comets, their top goal scorer is Irabona, who hasn't played for the last 3, maybe 4 weeks. He's with 4 goals. Labasso with 4, and Dorsey, who is on the bench tonight, with 1. So not big on scoring goals at the moment. They are sitting their 10th best attack in the league. So before today's games, the only teams that scored less goals was Croatia and Modbury.
Labasso's a fantastic striker, but he can't do much if he's isolated up there on his own, which is what it's seeming like is the case tonight, at least.
Yeah, it certainly is. I've known Labasso for a long time. He's played all over the park, not only for Comets, but for Demons, for South Adelaide. And now he's doing it for them up front with 4 goals.
You played with him at Demons, did you?
No, he was too young.
Yeah,
he was too young. Too young. So it's funny when I was up there. It's funny seeing him now, because when I did see him up in when I was up in playing up for Northern Demons, he was knee high to a grasshopper. Like it was, that's the scary part. All the Labasso boys were all quite young, so I never actually played football with them, but they certainly saw me play a few times.
Good 4-1 win for Northern Demons today, as you said a little bit earlier.
Massive win for them. Here's Fortunato, looks for Windsor and finds him in some space, but he can't turn with it, and Comets come away with it. Here's Mavrolambardos. He goes wide to Labasso. Labasso can't keep that under control. And this is just the other end of the scale. MetroStars. Goals. Windsor scored 5, not including tonight. Windsor's on 5, Woodfin on 4, Chittadini on 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other players have all scored 1 goal each before tonight. So plenty of goal scorers around the place, but their main striker is there scoring goals. He's scored his 6th one tonight. Here's Badanos. He's cut out by Nagel.
I think even the last couple of rounds before tonight that he had a little bit of a dry patch, so it's good to see him back in the scoring column this week.
Here's Stojanovic. Karkafiris. Mavrolambardos. Park. Cut out by Satira. Just to give you an idea, MetroStars, Simon, 17 goals for, 3rd best in the league, only bettered by Playford and Adelaide United up until today's results. I haven't included today's results in my stats as of yet.
Well, Playford had that big 8-1 win against Para Hills.
Yeah, that certainly helped their goals for, that's for sure. I was on that game.
They've been super impressive, though, for their first year back in NPL, I've got to say.
They certainly have been. Benny Moore's got them playing some really good stuff at the moment. Here's the ball from Luich looking for Labasso, cleared by Walls. Here's Lobo, he can't bring that under control, and it's a throw-in.
Playford played MetroStars yet this year?
They did. They drew 1-1. That was the draw in round 7. Finished 1-1. Yeah, finished 1-1. And Playford are the only team that's come here and taken points off of Metro this season.
I was just thinking that's a spicy fixture, and there you said a 1-1 draw.
Yep. And that's run out for a goal kick. Yeah, it was. You'd hope it would be a spicy draw, but it did finish 1-1. Like I said, that was in round 7. And it's funny, I was talking to one of our fellow commentators, David Grant, to him about bookings, and we were like, it made me think. I was like, well, if he keeps saying that there's bookings and Windsors on a couple, I thought, I'm going to have a look at this. So I went through and I found that he's on four bookings so far this year. So one more and he'll then get a week's rest. Here's Nagel. He'll go all the way back to Ostrike.
Well, in the meantime, MetroStars will have to keep winning, and he'll have to be on his best behaviour, won't he?
That's it, exactly right. Here's Walls. He cuts inside. Looks for Chitadini, but cut out by Luich again. Here's Stojanovic. He'll look to release Lobo on the far side and does so. Lobo foot race against Fortunato. Gets there. Cuts inside into the box. Looks to cross. He gets Fortunato down. He shoots. Cheeky effort there, and Ostrike gets a hand on that and pushes it out for a corner at his near post. Clever little play there from Lobo.
Yeah, I was going down. I was trying to check some of those bookings, to be perfectly honest there. I looked up just in time to see Ostrike covering his near post. But the chance for Comets here from the corner, the chances of them have been few and far between. They've got a little bit of size in their squad.
Lobo
to see what they can do.
Lobo to swing it in, goes near post, and Ostrike gets a double fist to that and clears it. But Comets win it back. Vadanos. He goes wide to Luich on the right wing. I wouldn't expect to say that too often. Does well, gets Vadanos down the line. He's able to cross and does so. Straight to Ostrike, who claims at the near post. And then he looks to settle things down. I did notice Windsor making an absolute beeline down this near side, but he told him to take a breather. And here's McNamara. I don't know if you can hear it, but Danny Greystone there saying, keep the ball moving, keep the ball moving. So it's part of the way they play is always keep the ball moving. We've seen it many times, and that's a free kick there to Park. Satira, only small handful of shirt. I think he stretched it about 3 sizes then.
Yeah, a little bit too blatant on that particular occasion there.
Here's Stojanovic to take the free kick. Goes short to Labasso. Stojanovic goes inside to Lobo. Ball for kindly Labasso.
Every time he seems to receive it tonight, he's just on the run. I'd be curious to see how much ground he's covered already tonight.
Here's Vadanos, knocks it down for Zacharakis, but eventually Zacharakis does very well and wins the corner. Does very well there. I thought that was Nagel tried to usher that one out, but couldn't keep it out from going out for a corner. As Mavrolambardos will come across to take this one on this near side this time. I dare say it'll be a left-footed in-swinger, and it is. And he goes far post. And it's eventually cleared. No, stayed in and eventually goes to Ostrike, who takes it, and he looks to release Windsor quickly and does release up against Park. And there's a tussle there. And Curtis waves play on. Both of them, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Have to admit, I think I kind of agree with him there. Both players were holding on to each other.
Yeah, Windsor was trying to either overcome him physically or try draw something, so I can't blame him for that.
Oh no, it was a great battle there between the two of them, and it's good to see Curtis Wordsworth there, as to be expected. He's one of the top referees in our leagues, just letting the play go and saying that, no, both of you had hold of each other. Here's Mollis for MetroStars. Nagel goes all the way back to Ostrike. He in turn goes out to Fortunato on the right-hand side. Inside to Mollis. Back to Fortunato. Again, Metro just happy to keep the ball and build up play slowly and try and draw Comets further forward and try and play him behind. Here's Fortunato. He looks for the big switch to find Cittadini and finds him in some space. Here is Cittadini. Looks to cut in on his right and does. Crosses, and yet again there's Luich. Clears only as far as McNamara. Woodfin.
That's a worry seeing Cittadini in so much space on the left-hand side, given how fruitful those deliveries have been from that particular corner so far tonight.
Here's Fortunato. Runs into a bit of trouble and eventually knocks the ball down the line, but Walls is unable to keep that one in.
Just sort of watch the contrast there and watching Comets defend compared to when they move it up and MetroStars are forced back. It's just the numbers that are in front of the ball. That's the stark difference. MetroStars just seem to get everyone there back and organised and able to defend. Comets just don't quite have the personnel there. They're so organised at the back, MetroStars. A very predictable shape, but they do it so well.
They certainly do. And that's one thing Danny Greystone does instill into his teams, is discipline and making sure they all know how to play the way he wants them to play. Here's Woodfin up against Luich, and eventually goes out for a goal kick. But Luich again in position and able to snuff the danger out.
He's got his hands full tonight, doesn't he?
He certainly does. Vaughan goes long looking for Labasso. McNamara wins that one. Here's Vadanos. Inside to Stojanovic. He goes back. Vaughan. The captain. His armband matches his boots. He goes long looking for Labasso, but Fortunato wins that one. And RB Mollis picks up the ball in space in the middle of the park. He goes wide to Windsor. He's onside. Windsor up against Karkafiris. Cuts in onto his left. And then crosses. A great ball in. And it's almost gone all the way through. Cittadini with the almost touch. I think if Cittadini got the touch, it was in. I don't think he got a touch, though.
It was, yeah, it was only inches off in the end. I saw Cittadini loose on that side when it switched right. And I was thinking with his confidence that he's got at the moment, he'd love to get on the end of this. And he very nearly did.
It almost went in straight from the cross as well, which is a scary thought. Here's Windsor again. Metro win it straight back. He's up against Karkafiris. He forces him backwards. Fortunato goes all the way back to Ostrike. Ostrike out to McNamara on this left-hand side. Just in front of us here. He goes short to Nagel. Nagel goes back to RB Mollis. Great turn. He's able to switch it to Satira. Satira finds it in behind Park and gets inside the box, and he's able to cross and does, and cut out by Park in the end for another corner. But again, Metro just space and able to play those balls in behind.
That was a really impressive series there from when RB Mollis received the pass in not much space at all, just the way he picked it out. They found Satira on that right-hand side, and just they're really playing confidently at the moment, MetroStars. I see you eavesdropping, trying to hear the instructions to Labasso from the Comets bench.
Yep. Got to try and pick up any insight you can. Hamish Gow on the far side with this corner. Left swing, left-footed in swing. Goes near post again. And it's almost gone through, but this time the foul's been given away, I think, by Jackson Walls there at the near post.
Did you pick up anything there?
No. No. I was trying to work out what Labasso was trying to tell the coaching staff. Here's Luich, goes around Windsor very well, finds Zacharakis. He loses out to Woodfin, and Gow picks it up. Here's Woodfin again. McNamara. He's going to switch and does, looking for Walls on the far side and finds him. Walls goes inside to Satira, but cut out by Karkafiris. He finds Mavrolambardos. He's able to turn and come this side, and here's Vadanos on the ball for Comets. Zacharakis. Labasso. met by McNamara, does well to keep it in. He's met by 3 Metro players who'll go line, and Nagel's there for company. Goes inside and almost finds Zakarakis, but it's cut out by Woodfin, and Gow comes away with it. And here's Satira in some space.
They're just so calm in defending. They're just happy to let Labasso hold, but he had 3 MetroStars players around him, so no concern.
Here's Owen Windsor on the far side. He beats one, gets inside the box, and goes over, and Curtis is happy to see that one away and just says no chance that that's a penalty.
It was an ambitious call in the end, but you'd give it a go, why not?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He didn't have much options in the box once he got in there. Here's Luich. He looks to go line looking for Vadanos, but only finds Nagel. Nagel does well and goes line and finds Chittadini. Chittadini inside to Gow. Gow line to Mollis. Mollis has got plenty of runners and eventually finds Windsor and Chittadini, but cut out by Karkaferis this time coming across. But great play there from Metro.
You said the word disciplined before, and I think that's what we're really seeing from MetroStars tonight. They just look supremely disciplined and organised. I think they're really just... Yeah, they've hit their straps tonight the way they're going. It'll be interesting to see what they take into the second half.
Mollis, he switches to Walls. There's Jackson Walls with the armband while Fabian Barbieri out injured. Here's Satira. He goes inside to Woodfin. Woodfin goes line. Backheel from Walls and then cross from Woodfin. It's not cut out very well. Chittadini, and he's hit the post. Here's Walls. Crosses again, but it's fallen to Chittadini again in the box, and this time unable to get a shot away, and Comets come away with it. Fortunato cuts it out, but only as far as Stojanovic, and he looks for Labasso line, but that's gone out. But what a sequence of play there, Simon.
It was funny. We were talking about just the discipline and shape that they're playing just in the lead up to that, and then they, went from doing it on the left-hand side to the right. It's pretty incredible what we're seeing from them at the moment, and I'm really enjoying watching Gow and Mollis combine in that dual pivot role as well. Just the way they're the way MetroStars can win the ball, give it to those players, and they can distribute those balls long to either side, and they've got the personnel to receive as well. So impressive.
And there's Curtis Blows for half-time, Simon. Quick rundown the first half.
Well, 2 goals in quick succession from Windsor. Did really, really well to do that, and then we saw the third as well. Again, what more can you say? MetroStars just playing the way they want to at this particular point. Unfortunately for Comets, it's all uphill, and without a dramatic shift of, I guess, their setup and attitude in the second half, I just don't see how they're going to change their tide, because MetroStars looking like a freight train the way they're going this game.
They certainly are, and we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back after these messages for the second half here at TK Shuttle Reserve.
For over 25 years, HPG Homes have been helping South Australians build and own their dream home. Whether it's a house and land package, custom build or development, our HPG fixed price guarantee ensures no nasty surprises or price changes along the way. We're committed to quality, affordability and creating a way of life for you and your family. Fixed price, turnkey. It's gotta be HPG. HPG Homes.
Hi, Stephen Curry here. Way too many Australians are seriously injured or die on our roads, and everyone has a right to get home safe every day, no exceptions. Let's champion road safety for all our sakes. Remove distractions, keep your phone out of sight, don't speed, drive tired or under the influence, and talk with friends and family about staying safe on the road. For more info, visit the website, take the pledge and wear a yellow ribbon on yourself or your car to
For over 25 years, HPG Homes have been helping South Australians build and own their dream home. Whether it's a house and land package, custom build or development, our HPG fixed price guarantee ensures no nasty surprises or price changes along the way. We're committed to quality, affordability and creating a way of life for you and your family. Fixed price, turnkey. It's gotta be HPG. HPG Homes.
Hi, Stephen Curry here. Way too many Australians are seriously injured or die on our roads, and everyone has a right to get home safe every day, no exceptions. Let's champion road safety for all our sakes. Remove distractions, keep your phone out of sight, don't speed, drive tired or under the influence, and talk with friends and family about staying safe on the road. For more info, visit the website, take the pledge and wear a yellow ribbon on yourself or your car to show your support. Let's all stay safe out there.
We all play the same game. The battlefield may look different, but between those painted lines, the feeling each of us get alongside our tribe. Let the moment sink in, then let it rip. The runs out wide, last-ditch efforts and clean sheets. The tap-in or rocket to the top bins. The eruption of the 12th player that sends shivers down your spine. It's in the way we celebrate, because football is everyone's game. Play football.
Shot from the edge of the corner of the 18-yard box and Luke McGarry unable to kick that out, and that's gone in at the far post. And he's done so, and he's made it 2-0. Contender for goal of the week. He knows Luke Magetto off his line, and he's chipped him from about 25 yards out and taken a 2-0 lead. And welcome back to TK Shutter Reserve for this round.
9.
Had a mental blank there for a second. Round 9 of the RAA NPLSA between MetroStars and Adelaide Comets. MetroStars coming into the second half of this game with a healthy lead, Simon.
Absolutely. We were saying off air at halftime, it's been a masterclass from them so far, especially the later part of that second half. They were just moving the ball so well. More of the same in the second half is what they'll be looking to do, and probably more goals.
They certainly will be, and Comets will just have to be out to turn the tide. It doesn't look like either team have made any changes, and I wouldn't expect any from Metro unless there's an injury, but Comets, different story, and it does look like they have made a change. So it looks like Dorsey has come on for Comets. Wearing number 7. He'll be, by the looks of it, sitting in this left wing, which will be just in front of us in the commentary box. And I dare say that'll be Zacharakis has made way, who was on the right wing, and it has allowed Lobo to switch sides. As Comets get us underway for this second half of round 9 in the RAA MPLSA. Jackson Walls with the headed clearance. And Satira wins the early free kick. I'm just having a look now. I don't think there are any other changes. Oh, actually, I tell a lie. I lied. It's actually Vadanos that's come off, the right back. Zacharakis has dropped into right back. Lobo across to right wing, and Dorsey onto the left wing. Got there eventually. Sorry, Simon, I know you're making your notes.
It's all right. Zacharakis played there last week. We spent at least a little bit of time there last week, I believe. So,
and Vadanos makes way at half time. Here's Windsor for MetroStars, as I have had to don the jacket in this second half. It's gotten chilly here at TK Shutter Reserve. It was set to be about 15 degrees at 7 o'clock, and it is now 8:45, and it's certainly a lot cooler than that.
Yeah, I'm grateful that I've got the headphones on again now to keep the ears a little bit warmer in the absence of a beanie.
I was smart enough and brought the beanie with me. As Comets win the free kick off the far side, and Stojanovic will go across to take it, and does it with his left. As Karkafiris also makes his way forward from the back. He goes long into the box, and there's Fortunato clears away. Windsor challenges Park. Fortunato wins another header, and eventually he comes away with it, and he comes wide to Satira. Satira is met by Mavro Lombardis, and eventually Metro still come away with it. Here's Gow. And Gow coolly keeps the ball, goes back to Walls and Fortunato. Still pains me, Simon, that Hamish Gow hasn't been offered the opportunity to test his ability in the A-League, as Karkafiris wins that header back to Vaughan.
Well, speaking of that, there was another chat we had off there at the half-time. There's a couple of players within the MetroStars side that, you know, you could argue that should have the opportunity.
And the other one that we did discuss was the young goalkeeper in Cody Ostreich, who's been a great servant for MetroStars as the ball's crossed there, and Fortunato clears to Windsor. He's just very commanding in his box, and his distribution is wonderful to watch.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off, but actually we might be cut off here. Not to be. The word we said a couple of times in that first half was just how disciplined and MetroStars are, and just the shape, and he just is the bottom of that triangle between his two centre-backs, and how solid he is on the ball as well. He allows them to go really wide, and then they can then take advantage of their really wide left and right back players, but just they just look so solid out the back there, and I think he's a big part of that.
Yeah, he certainly commands his area well, makes saves when he has to. He was put under a little bit of pressure in that first half with a couple of crosses, and he dealt with those well.
But I think what's most impressive, though, is what you reminded me of, the fact he's just 20 years of age.
Yeah, he is young, and he's got a solid goalkeeper coach as well. Who certainly would work him hard at trainings and demand the best from him in Tassie Breeden, who has played at the pro level. So he knows what it takes. Here's McNamara looking for RB Mollison, finds him. Back to Nagel, and they're happy to play the little triangle. Here's McNamara, goes all the way back to Ostreich, who keeps the ball moving. Here's Fortunato. He goes looking for Satira, and Satira brings that under control. And eventually Walls knocks that into Dorsey and out for a throw. But much better start from Comets' zone. A bit more pressure from them.
Yeah, I noticed they've got a few more players up front just trying to get that high press happening as well. It has to be something dramatic from them to turn the tide, because MetroStars were just looking unstoppable towards the end of that first half.
And here's Labasso in the box. Hits it. And I'll strike down low to his left to make the save. But Labasso probably should have made more of that.
Well, that's the sort of moment that could turn the tide for Comets. And there you go, we mentioned that pressure up front. Reverend Lombardo's coming in to assist there. That's what they're going to have to do, because, I mean, in terms of how their shape is against MetroStars, it doesn't look like that's what is going to get past them. It has to be those sort of opportunistic moments that they need to not waste.
Here's Stojanovic. Will take the free kick, and he'll look to knock it into the box, and does so. Goes deep, and there's Ostrike, who calmly takes that one and then looks to release Windsor, and does so beautifully. And Windsor tries to get him behind Park but can't. Here's Cittadini, another player that's been in fine form for MetroStars. He beats Luic, but Luic eventually tracks back and wins the throw.
Luic making him do the hard work a little bit there. He had 3 players chasing him in the end.
Zacharakis goes long, finds Labasso. Labasso flicks it on. Fortunato across to clear. The Comets have certainly come out with a new hunger and pressure in this half at the start of it, which is good to see.
Yeah, we're seeing the product of it there, the fact that they're winning the ball up ahead and just putting MetroStars under a little bit more pressure than what they were throughout the first half.
Here's Labasso, goes back to Zacharakis, but not on the same page there, and the ball goes out for a throw.
Well, that's clearly the other challenge that they're going to have as well, the fact that they're going to be frantically chasing MetroStars at this point.
And Metro can just take their time, keep the ball if they need to. Nagel goes inside to Windsor. He in turn goes long looking for Mollis. Karkofiris doesn't quite clear well enough and only goes to Cittadini, but Zacharakis, a little bit of push in the back, and Cittadini comes away with the free kick. Fortunato being given some instruction there from Danny Greystone. We'll see if that comes to fruition. Ostrike looks for Walls. Walls cuts inside and wins the header beautifully. And Luic is there again. Eventually falls to Nagel on the far side on his left, and it sits nicely. He into the box, goes around one, and then runs out of space, unfortunately, for Nagel. It started to sit nicely, but then as he kept getting quicker and quicker, it just wouldn't sit for him on that left boot.
Yeah, a couple of too many touches in the end. He carried it into the 18-yard box, and I thought he might have tried to offload a shot, but didn't quite get the ball to sit right for him.
Walls wins that header. And Park does well for Comets and turns himself well out of trouble there and draws the free kick. Park looks to take it, but leaves it in the end for Karkofiris, who looks for the long switch of play to Lobo on the far side and finds him, but Nagel in close proximity and wins it. Here's McNamara. He goes long looking for Windsor, and he's onside. And Luic throws himself at that one. Cittadini goes wide to Windsor. Windsor looks to cross and does so, but cut out there by Karkofiris, and Comets asking for the offside.
The way that was cleared, but simultaneously picked out the player on the left-hand side there, I guess that's the benefit from having such a disciplined shape in your side. You can always rely on either Cittadini on your left-hand side, or Satira in the case of what it is tonight, and other occasions, Visser, to have something. If you do clear it long, you can just create an opportunity straight off that clearance.
Cittadini goes to the near post and cleared by Stojanovic, and then further by Mavrolambardos. Back into the box, and then cleared into Curtis Wordsworth, who blows his whistle, and Comets will pick up the drop ball. Don't see that too often.
Yeah, a bit unlucky there. They would have looked to counter quickly, but just unfortunate there.
Here's Labasso. Surrounded quickly by three. Turns beautifully out of trouble. Goes forward. Finds Lobo on the far side. He looks to cross and does. And there's McNamara to clear, but only out for a corner. So a bit more pressure now from Comets.
What makes a difference when Labasso isn't out there on his own? That's something that we saw in that first half, but he's got the support up forward now in both Dorsey and Lobo slipping over to that right-hand side. So a couple opportunities created, and we've got another one from the corner here.
Mavro Lombardos will swing this in with his left, and goes near post, cleared by Satiro, and he runs away with it. And he looks to release Cittadini and does. But the MetroStars streaming forward here. He finds Mollis, who's made a great run into the box. He then crosses it, but cut out well by Park. And the ball eventually trickles out for a corner. So we've gone from corner to corner. What a lightning attack that was from MetroStars.
That's a great ball to Mollis, but in the end he just found it maybe a little bit too advanced, and there was a bit of a tricky angle with the player advancing to his left-hand side. But nonetheless, MetroStars been lethal so far tonight from the corner, so another good chance for them here.
Hamish Gow again on it with the left in swinger. See if he goes near post or far post this time. He goes near post again, this time cleared by Comets and then further by Lawball, but only as far as Windsor on the far side of the pitch. He turns Zacharakis and does so, beats him, and then crosses looking for McNamara, but it's over his head. And here's Dorsey for Comets. He's able to clean up.
Would have liked to see McNamara get his head to that, make it 2 in 2 weeks.
Vaughan spreads the play in. But Woodfin cuts that out. And Zacharakis will take the throw. Nagel wins the header. Fortunato gets it further out and it goes out for a throw-in, as Labasso felt the full weight of Fortunato in that hit. As I just have a quick look down there, someone just said the MetroStars substitutes warming up. It's a scary thought when you've still got the likes of Porter to be able to come on.
Yeah, Cameron had a good spell last week.
He came on at half-time for Cavuto last week. So he had 45 in him last week. But what a player coming back from the Adelaide United youth setup. Kakafiris goes long, but that's too long, and Labasso doesn't even bother chasing that one. Ostrike will bring that one under control. And gets the ball to Fortunato. Gow beautifully beats Ikonomopoulos and then finds Windsor. Windsor's able to then play in Satira on this right-hand side. Satira up against Park. Cuts inside on his left, beats one. But then Kakafiris manages to hold him up. Here's Woodfin. Back to Walls. Back to Fortunato inside to Arby Mollis, who's got space there in the middle of the park, and he switches it for Nagel on the far side. He's able to bring it under control. Goes back to Cittadini. Cittadini assesses. And then he's happy just to keep the ball for Metro.
I'm just having a little bit of a think here about who the standout players for MetroStars seem to be. And I think two of them are pretty well-rounded performance, so it's sort of hard to pick some standouts. But I think two that I have noticed is Satira and Nagel, who have both come back from injury tonight. I think they've been pretty impressive so far.
Yeah, they've both been impressive on return. I was just talking about Porter on the bench. You've got Zappler's also returned. I think he missed a bit of the season as well through injury. And you've still got Cavuto as well on the bench. Fortunato back to Ostrike. That was a loose pass, and that's gone out for a corner. So a bit more pressure from Comets is putting Metro starting to feel that pressure a little bit.
Whenever we go quiet, it's because we're eavesdropping on either bench, and Comets just getting some pretty clear feedback from the bench there.
Goes near post and Walls clears. Hamish Gow gets there first, but Lobo wins it back. And he's surrounded by MetroStars players. And Mollis finds Windsor. Windsor in some space is able to turn. He's got Woodford on the left. Breaking a through ball. And Vaughan's out high, unable to claim that one.
He was waiting for Woodfin to be in the right place to run onto that there, but Chittadini was another option. I think he probably could have made something a bit more of it by releasing a little bit earlier, but not to be in that occasion.
Here's Dorsey for Comets. Fine, looking for Park, but strikes out early and claims that one as Comets look to make another change when the ball goes out. And it looks like they're bringing on Spadavecchia. So as soon as we know who is going to make way, we'll let you know. Here's MetroStars back on the ball. Here's McNamara. Finds Chittadini. Back to Gow, and miscontrol there from Gow, but he's able to get there again. Goes back to Ostrike. Ostrike under a little bit of pressure, goes long, but finds Woodfin in space. He can't bring it under control. Gives it away to Comets and then gives away the free kick. And the change is they're going to take off Lawball. He's made way for the night. And Maverick Lombardos is out to the right-hand side. Spadavecchia is going to go high up on the right-hand side. Ball goes long into the box. And McNamara gets ahead on that one, and Ostrike claims, but there was a bit of spacing behind McNamara there.
Yeah, there was a little bit, and with the extra player up front now, they're going to have to be a little bit careful, not leaving much space behind.
Zacharakis can't turn with the ball there, and Mollis comes away with it, finds Walls. Walls has got some space to open the legs. He goes wide to Satira. Satira keeps that in. He's up against Park. Looks to cut in on his left, goes right, crosses, and then cut out by Park. Does well there.
There's been free rein on either wing for MetroStars so far tonight. They just continue to advance it.
As there is an issue in the crowd, the yellow jacket stewardesses will head over. Apologies for any language you may be hearing, as Tony Grayson's just telling us get his players away from the side of the pitch. No need for the players to be heading over there.
Looks like the leadership for MetroStars seems to be coming from Ostrike. He's just taking command of his team.
He's just trying to get them away. Walls was in there as well, just telling the boys to get out. No need for them to be there. Do not know what happened in the grandstand. We'll just leave it at that. But the players need to get themselves away from the fence. As the Comets have been a lot better this half, Simon.
Yeah, they have. And I guess moments like this of the game, they're going to do their best not to get distracted by noise that's happening from the crowd, because that can really disrupt the momentum of either side. MetroStars will want to have their wits about them here, because with that change that they just had a couple of minutes ago, they've got an extra player up front, and despite Comets being down 3-0 at this stage, they will just really go after the game at this point. So MetroStars just, they do have the ability to hold up play and be really patient at the back, so they should be focusing on that rather than getting involved, which in fairness doesn't look like they are. But Danny Greystone pretty clear in his instructions not to involve themselves with anything there.
We're just listening to Danny Greystone there, just asking if one of his players wants to go and sit in the stands or not and get involved with what's happening. He doesn't need to, he's playing on the park, so Danny's got a point there. He's just trying to get his players out of that and tuned into the game, as this will require some stoppage time now at the end of the game.
I like the instructions that he's given here there, and just he was pretty vocal just when that started to break out in the crowd, just with what he expected from his team.
As both teams just in a huddle, just waiting to see what happens as Curtis deals with the issue on the far side with his assistant referee.
I'm also noticing
Ibrahim Saidi.
I'm noticing MetroStars sort of talking amongst themselves as well, and Comets just a little bit more concerned with what's happening on the sideline, which is also interesting.
It seems that they've managed to settle down what's going on over there, and now we'll hopefully get back into the football as Curtis Wordsworth makes his way back into the centre of the park. And he's gone to his cards. So let's see what happens here. No. Okay. See what he does here. He's just having a chat with Jackson.
There was definitely a red in his hand.
I think he was just having a look at his book for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. Just trying to listen in, but I couldn't hear what was going on. But I did overhear something from Lawboy as he come off this side. He did go off the other side. He just said someone said something. He has no idea what they said, but something was said from the crowd. So we'll just think it's all died down now, but we'll worry about the football. We'll get back to it, which is a corner for MetroStars, and Hamish Gow will go over and take it. So it'll be interesting to see if any of the teams have switched off, Simon.
Yeah, well, we mentioned the side quests there, how distracting they can be, and another dangerous corner opportunity from MetroStars. We'll see if Comets are switched on.
It's another one there, cleared at the front post there by, I think, by Ikonomopoulos. And Gal will take another one. Things have certainly quietened down. The volume of the place is certainly quiet, and that's for sure. Here's Hamish Gow with another in-swinger left footer. This time he does go near post again. Cleared by Ikonomopoulos, but only as far as Chittadini. Here's Gow. Chittadini. Gow goes line, but cut out by Park. Walls with the throw. Looks for Windsor and finds him. Comes back to Gow. He in turn switches to McNamara. He in turn goes wider to Nagel on the far side. Again, Metro will just happily keep the ball moving. Fortunato. Put under pressure by Labasso, but goes back to Ostrak, and he goes long. Satira's going to challenge Park, and Park wins that one and finds Stojanovic. Comets a little bit under the pump, and he, in turn, Kakafiris goes long. Dorsey doesn't give that one up, and it goes all the way back to Ostrak. Ostrak coolly and calmly finds Woodford inside his own box. Fortunato, he goes long looking for Satira. Satira with the flick to Walls, beautifully done there, and Walls comes away with it. Finds himself some space. Windsor then can't find Chittadini on the far side as Maverick Lombardo's cut that one out, but they've given it away again, and Metro will recycle through McNamara. Goes long looking for Satira in behind and finds him beautifully in the box, and Satira brings it under control, but Vaughan in the end makes himself as big as possible and blocks the shot. Well done there from Vaughan.
It's been interesting as Comets have been pushing numbers up, trying to create something. They've been leaving a gap in the middle, and it's interesting to watch MetroStars try to exploit that on a couple of occasions. They've made a quick advance through the middle, and in that case almost got it to Satira.
Here's Gal. Finds Satira. Chittadini. Walls. Can't keep that one under control when it goes out for a throw-in. Here's Park for Comets, goes inside. Kakafiris goes long and finds Labasso. Labasso and Fortunato, good tussle there, and the ball comes away with Dorsey. Dorsey then tracked by Hamish Gow and wins the throw. Park goes short in the end to Stojanovic. He goes back to Karkafiris. And all the way back to Vaughan. Vaughan looks to splay it wide, but cut out by Satira. Satira goes back to Walls, and Metro will start again. And that they will by going all the way back to Ostrike. McNamara. Nagel goes all the way back to Ostrike again. So happy to keep moving the ball. Ostrike goes long this time, looking for Windsor. It's gone over, and Karkafiris just got a touch on it, and it's gone through to Daniel Vaughan. A free kick there, won by Labasso. Gow doesn't agree with that one, Simon.
Gow's always so entertaining to watch, whether he's fighting for the ball or he's just having a bit of a conversation. He's always so animated. He's just absolute joy to watch.
Luic, first one to the ball. Goes back to Ikonomopoulos. He turns, loses Windsor and gets himself into the midfield. Finds Labasso. Labasso back to Karkafiris. Karkafiris will go forward and finds Dorsey, but lost out to Satira. Eventually it falls to Spadavecchia. Finds Park. Satira and Park having a good battle there, and Park eventually wins out. And then runs into Walls and wins the free kick. Very well done there from Park in the end.
Yeah, you called it. That was an entertaining little battle there, but he ran into a wall, both literally and figuratively.
It looks like Mavrolambardas will come across to take this one. Be an outswinger. As it does allow Comets to send the tall timber forward. Mavrolambardas looks to swing it in, goes near post and cleared by Walls, only as far as Ikonomopoulos. Walls picks it back up, and then he goes wide looking for Cittadini. It's a foot race, but Park gets there first and goes long, only as far as Walls again. Now Woodfin on, and then he draws the foul, and Karkafiris is the first man into the book for the evening. A little bit of a knock after the play there.
Well, that quick counter-attack right through the guts. It looks like Comets were a little bit more anticipating it in that case. They were making sure Windsor was just not getting too far ahead, just make sure the offside trap was set and not letting to advance too far forward, and just giving away that foul, but managing to stop MetroStars.
Here's Satira up against Park, inside to Woodfin. Woodfin back to Satira. Back to Woodfin, inside the box. Little Denko at the top. Here's Windsor. Windsor's able to turn and hit it. Oh, and he's just put it wide of the post as Vaughan watched that one go wide. And what an effort that was by Windsor.
He did a little dance around the ball there. I was thinking, how's he going to turn around and get it in front of him? Somehow I'll be interested to watch that on a replay, put it that way, and he got the shot off. But well judged by Vaughan, because
he doesn't need much space at all to get a shot off, and that was very impressive. Here's Comets able to play out from the back. Here's Labasso, Stojanovic, Labasso. He's tracked down. He's tracked down by Mollis and wins the free kick. Park will get the ball rolling and does so. Here's Karkafiris. Comets bench certainly not happy with that tackle. Here's Stojanovic, and apologies if you can hear the language. Here's Karkafiris. Goes back to Vaughan. Vaughan inside to Ikonomopoulos. He in turn flicks it around the corner. Here's Spadavecchia, but can't get past Nagel. Here's Cittadini.
I think another thing that's interesting to watch for MetroStars that we just saw there as well is how they can sort of change up what sort of team they are depending on the situation, whether they want to be sharp and disciplined and organised, whether they need to be a little bit more tough and physical. They could do that as well. We've seen them try to advance it with a quick counter-attack right through the middle. We're just seeing a little bit of everything.
Yeah, they're certainly not ones to shy away from a tackle and put in a boot if they need to. Here's Satira. Goes back to Walls. And in turn back to Ostrike. He's forced to go long first time, looking for Woodford and finds him, but Karkafiris wins that one first. Here's Stojanovic. Park. Inside to Ikonomopoulos. He turns and then plays the ball behind Luic, which doesn't help him at all. And here's Vaughan. Karkafiris. Finds Park in some space. He's able to turn. Goes through looking for Spadavecchia, but cut out by Walls, and he in turn finds Satira, and Satira is able to go forward and does find looking for Windsor, but Vaughan's out high and he gets outdone by Windsor, and Windsor's got an open goal and he finishes it with his left foot, and he does. That's 2 for the evening for Windsor to make it 4-0 on the evening.
I was really composed by Windsor there. Vaughan came up to contest for it, but caught out. But for Windsor to have that composure, to just beat him and just launch it off that left boot, and it just curled in so nicely.
Yeah, I think that's probably the first mistake I've seen Vaughan make all year, to be honest. He's been brilliant in between the sticks for Comets, but that time he, instead of, I mean, the easier option would have just put his head through it and send that out, but he tried to bring that down, and unfortunately for him, Windsor was able to win it off him and make it count. And that puts Comets 4-0 on the Comets 4-0 down on the night as MetroStars go to the bench for their first time this evening. It's Woodford, who's been at an industrious game tonight. He makes way for Porter. And another good evening there from Woodford. Porter's going to come out this side into this right wing. And Satira's going to go inside into that 10 role. But here's Comets. Here's Labasso. Looks to get into the box and does so. He's greeted by 3 Metro players. He keeps the ball for a period of time, and eventually he gives away the free kick. And this could be interesting. And we'll see what happens here. There's a bit of a tussle between the two. As Walls defends his player, and as Owen Morse is just feeling the effects of that challenge and the little roll around after. We'll see how he pulls up and whether he needs to come off or not, but looks like Comets are going to the bench again. And they're making a double change. Ikonomopoulos looks to be making way. And Deng Deng is coming on. As Labasso makes way, which just surprised me a little bit. He's been very good for Comets this evening.
I wonder if that's in response to that bit of frustration he showed there.
Very well could be. And the other player coming on for Comets is Palacios, number 31. And it looks like, I believe Ikonomopoulos has made way as well. So Deng Deng has gone up top in the place of Labasso. Placisis has gone into the right-hand side. And Spadavecchia has dropped into midfield. So it's a bit of a change all round, because Stojanovic now going into the holding role, more central.
Just while you've been explaining what's happening on the pitch, I've had my eyes off the pitch just trying to get a bit of a look at that battle between Mollis and Labasso. It was just really desperate defending from Mollis, and it looked like he did possibly cop a little trip, but he was sort of rolling around the floor prior to that as well.
Looks like Mollis should be okay to continue. They haven't called for a sub at this stage, but it is his left shoulder.
Yeah, it looks like he went down and Labasso landed on top of him as he went down.
It looks like Metro could be making a triple change. As ball's gone, and Ostrike does well and deals with that as he was under pressure from Plessis. And McNamara is hit by Deng Deng, and Deng Deng comes away with it. And that's a great save from Ostrike. Deng Deng with his first touch could have put a dent in that, but Ostrike with a great save there to deny. As Mollis makes his way back onto the pitch, and what an effort that was from Comets. Ostrike wants to keep that clean sheet.
Absolutely, he has a really dangerous position.
Cleared by Gal Stojanovic. He finds Spadavecchia. Sorry, that was Mavrolambardos finds Spadavecchia. Spadavecchia looks in behind for Deng Deng, but there's Ostrike again, and he's happy to settle this one and calm it down as Metro look to be going to the bench and making a triple substitution. So we'll keep you updated on that one.
Deng Deng's trying to make his presence known. He's doing a little bit of chasing now, and he certainly does have a lot of presence with all that height that he has. He's hard to miss in that 18-yard box.
Windsor released down the left-hand side. He's in behind Luich, but Luich tracks him back. He turns in. He's able to face up. Gets onto his left. And Luich does really well and ends up winning that and comes away with it. And looks to spread the play. And does, and finds Dorsey. There's Walls. Deng Deng certainly making his presence felt as he wins that one. Ball finds Spadavecchia. Spadavecchia then tracked by Porter. Porter does well. Comets keep the ball. Here's Park. Things have certainly intensified, Simon.
I was just thinking that. It's got the similar feel to what it did towards the later part of the games against Mowbray last week, but in that instance it was all tied up.
And the through ball goes all the way through to Ostrike.
I think one thing both teams have to be careful of, though, but MetroStars not so much, given how their advantage at this late point in the game. There's been a few distractions in this second half.
Here's Chittadini into the box. Meets Zakarakis. He gets across, and there's Arby Mollis, who's able to finish to make it 5. 3 in the box, and he makes no mistake, Simon.
I think he's been great tonight. He's been getting more and more confidence over the last couple of weeks, so to see him get rewarded with that goal. He's seemingly getting under people's skin a little bit tonight, Arby Mollis, but potentially the last laugh for him with that little one off the bottom of the crossbar. Been such a great performance from MetroStars tonight. It really has.
Those Comets look to be going to the bench one last time this evening, and number 20 is going to be coming on, and that's Lanzilli. He's replaced, I think it was Mavrolambardos. And Metro going to their bench for the first time tonight, and are going to make a double substitution. Satira is making way after his return and scoring as well. Scotty Nagel also makes way. So Muhatara will come on for Scotty Nagel, which then pushes McNamara out to left back. Muhatara will come inside and play centre back. And the other change was number 19.
Daniel Cavourdo.
Cavourdo comes on for MetroStars. And he replaced Satira, which has then pushed Porter into that 10 role. Cavourdo's come outside to this right wing. Here's Muhatira with his first touch. Comes wide to Walls. Now I believe that's Comets. No more substitutions. That goes back to Ostrike. MetroStars still have 2 windows available to make changes. With 2 more players to be able to come on. Dorsey goes all the way back to Vaughan.
Just having a look at the ladder at the moment. So with 3 points tonight, North East MetroStars will get on 20 points ahead of Adelaide City in second spot on 17. So a bit of a buffer for them.
Here is Cavourdo. He goes line, looking to beat Spadavecchia. He then goes inside, but gets it through, and Karkafiris doesn't quite clear, but eventually does, and Muhatira forces Palacios all the way back. Here's Deng Deng. Stojanovic looking for Zacharakis in behind. Here's Mollis, but Stojanovic comes through with the head and wins the free kick for a high boot. Here's Karkafiris. Park. Walls cuts that out. Bruno goes line, but Park muscles him off the ball and wins the free kick. Park goes back to Karkafiris. They get the ball moving again. Cut out by Mollis. Mollis goes wide looking for Chittadini and finds him. Here's Chittadini. Windsor goes wide of him. He goes to Windsor. Windsor on the left. And that's a great save from Vaughan. Absolutely outstanding save there from Vaughan. Denies the hat-trick. But that was just all too easy there for MetroStars on that left-hand side of attack.
Just revisiting that ladder. So, with a loss tonight, see Comets slip to 8th.
Chittadini goes far post and finds Windsor, but he's unable to get control of it, and Comets come away with it, as you were saying.
Yeah, so Comets slipped to 8, which is a little bit concerning, given how many games they've lost within the last 5 or so. Something for this team to address. Meanwhile, I think MetroStars have they've been looking good over the last couple of weeks, but they've really hit their straps tonight, playing so much confidence. And given they have got Nagel back, Satira as well, and the fact that Barbiero's not too far away, they're looking like they're in a good spot at the moment.
They certainly do. And they're able to bring the changes they do have to make. When they make them, they're not losing anything by losing a player. They're able to replace like for like, and the players that come in know how Danny wants them to play, and away they go. Here's Chittadini able to pick up the ball in space and finds Cavuto. He's going to be able to run at Park and does so. He looks inside but can't find Porter. Goes all the way through, but McNamara picks it up. And Zacharakis comes away with it. He in turn finds Palacios. But Muhitira is there to clean up and does so and finds Cavuto. And then Park forces him out and the ball goes over for a throw-in. Here's Spadavecchia. He goes inside looking for Luic. Puts him under a bit of pressure but deals with that very well. Turns outside and finds Lenzilli. And in turn looks for Zacharakis, but I don't think Zacharakis is going to be able to keep that one in.
Just looking at next week, Saturday afternoon, 2:30, MetroStars travelling to Regency Park to play Croydon, and Comets will host West Torrens Bacalla on the Sunday at 2 o'clock. So that'll be interesting with a couple former Comets playing for West Torrens Bacalla.
Certainly will be. That'll be a great game to tune into in the RAA NPLSA. As we are here, 5-0 MetroStars, thanks to One World LED and Sportal scoreboard for all your indoor and outdoor LED solutions. This is the standalone fixture this evening in the MPLSA, RAA MPLSA. There is one more game for round 9 in the RAA MPLSA, and that is being played tomorrow. As Palacios looks to take Fortunato wide, but doesn't succeed, and the ball goes out for a goal kick, and that is FK Beergrad taking on Croydon, I believe. So I'm just checking to make sure I'm right.
It certainly is, and that's interesting because those two teams in number 6 and 7 across, just on top of where Comets are sitting at the moment. So it's a pretty crowded mid-table at the moment, but 3 points for either of those sides will see him potentially jump to 4th.
But a very enticing game in the fact that both teams are in a bit of form as well. Both won last week. FK Beergrad probably in a little bit better form than Croydon. They've certainly had a poor start, FK Beergrad, but I knew once they started getting the right results that they'd keep that run going, and they have done so far. Here's Comets, here's Spadavecchia. He goes wide to Lanzilli. He's inside the box and crosses only as far as McNamara. McNamara then Cittadini. Cittadini goes long looking for Windsor, but that goes out over the far sideline and out for a throw into Comets. The only problem I find commentating at this ground is seeing the time, because we are above the scoreboard as we have kicked into time added here at TK Shadow. Metro will look to go to the bench, and they're going to take Avi Mollis off, and young Zappler is going to come on. And Mollis is going to go off on the far side, and Danny's not happy about that. I dare say Zappler will go straight into. So he's going to drop Cittadini into the midfield, and Zappler's going to go out into that left wing. Ball goes long for Windsor. Cleared by Comets. Here's Gow, wins the flick. Stojanovic finds Park. Back to Zacharakis. He finds Stojanovic in some space. He's able to turn. Lines it up with the left, but hits that one and doesn't catch that as well as he'd hoped, Simon.
Yeah, Comets tried to come up with an answer in this second half, but they just haven't found it. While they push players up the middle and tried to put on a little bit of pressure, they've just left a gap through the middle, and MetroStars multiple times just being able to get it done quick on the counter-attack. I guess with how they spread their players, they've got them... They spread them so wide on either side. They just create so much room for themselves. And in utilising off-strike and the two centre-backs as that formation and spreading the two centre-backs so wide, they just use every part of the pitch. And it's just really dangerous and difficult for these teams that they face to defend.
He's Deng on the far side. He's tackled by Fortunato as we are in time added. And due to the incident in the stands, we have no idea how much time added there will be as the ball switched there, and Park gets to it eventually. He goes line. Dorsey keeps it in. Goes back to Karkafiris. Karkafiris goes long looking for Deng, but Fortunato wins that header. And eventually the ball goes through, and Ostrike will pick that one up and take his time in distributing. As Metro are happy now just to see this game out.
It's been such a well-rounded team performance for them.
It certainly has been.
It's really hard to pick out any particular players just because they've all been so fantastic.
Here's Muhitira. He turns and goes back to Ostrike. And again, happy just to time waste by just keeping the ball. He in turn goes long looking for McNamara, but cut out by Zacharakis, and McNamara makes his way back. Here's Lanzilli. He goes inside, cut out by Gow. Gow's going to come away with it with plenty of space in the middle of the park. He's got Cavuto wide of him, and he finds him. He bursts into the box. What's he going to do? He shoots, and saved by Vaughan at his near post.
I'm glad he got a shot there, because I think he struggled a bit last week, to be perfectly honest. He came off at half-time and late appearance in this game, so for him to get a little bit of confidence, it's nice to see him landing in a bit of space and getting a shot off there for Cavuto.
Oh, he certainly hit it well, and it's forced Vaughan into a good save at his near post, and he dealt with that, and it's gone out for a corner, which Gow will wander over and take. We'll see if the tried and true tester that worked for them earlier in the game go near post. It looks like it will do. This time he goes far post, cleared by Comets. Spadavecchia then able to hook that one out for a throw-in on the far side. And Metro will certainly just take their time getting across.
Looks very different when MetroStars send that corner in and there's Deng Deng right in the middle of the 6-yard box.
He's certainly a tall timber, Deng, wearing the number 72. Here's Windsor. He's able to turn. He gets his cross into the far post, and there's Cavuto. Brings it under control. Beats Park, gets inside, tries to beat Vaughan at the near post, but Vaughan's too big for that and claims it. Then he goes long. Cleared by McNamara. Spadavecchia gives that away, and here's Cavuto. then gets his boot in and clears, but only as far as Gal. And Gal's happy just to turn that over and keep it, and goes back to Walls, who in turn goes back to Muatiro. He turns away from the Comet striker, does very well, and then finds Porter. Porter can't outmuscle Karkafiris, and he comes away with it. He's going to tracked by Porter, does very well, and Gal helps him out. Karkafiris still wins it, and eventually wins the free kick.
That's a rare little slip of discipline for MetroStars there. I think from the attack could have been left just to go to off-strike, but they struggled a little bit to clear it and just put under more pressure than they needed to be.
Cannot fault Karkafiris' effort there. Certainly ploughed his way through and eventually won the free kick through sheer determination. And this is Luich on the ball with a two-man wall. Looks like Luich is going to hit this. He does. It takes the wicked deflection off the wall and goes out for a free kick, for a corner on the far side. But he was lining that one up. That was a long way out, Simon.
Yep, Hamish Gow's head was more than equal to that, though. Managed to catch it on the way in. I think as far as plays in a wall, Hamish Gow's probably one you want because he doesn't really shy away. He really throws himself in front of it, whatever sort of position he's in.
Certainly does. The ball goes far post. Here's Stojanovic, brings it out, then hits it, and it's gone in. Beautiful left foot volley there from Stojanovic.
There you go, late one from Comets. Won't make much difference given 5-1 is now the scoreline on the One World LED and Sportal scoreboard for all your indoor and outdoor LED solutions. But nonetheless, a little bit of confidence for Comets, I guess, at this point, and maybe a little bit of a wake-up call from MetroStars as well, just to, say, hey, you know what? You can't afford to turn off at this point. There's still more game to be played.
Exactly right, and that's what happened there. Metro switched off slightly, and Stojanovic made that count, and I tell you what, Cody Ostrike will not be happy with that. Zappler looks to find Cavuto on this near side and finds him beautifully, and Cavuto then crosses far post. Here's Windsor, who's been flagged offside.
Yeah, going back to Ostrike, his initial reaction, he was clapping the hands and pretty unimpressed, and now he's still having some words with his players, and I'm sure Danny Greystone, despite being pretty impressed with the performance all in all tonight, may have something to say about that last little blemish.
He certainly will. He will not be happy that they've conceded. Here's Walls. Goes long, but Park cuts that out. Battle there between Spadavecchia and Cavuto. Eventually, MetroStars win the throw. But yeah, Metro won't be happy. Danny won't be happy that they've conceded. Goes long, and there's full-time whistle from Curtis Wordsworth. Simon, quick breakdown for me. What do you got for me?
Had a bit of everything in the end, didn't it? MetroStars were just unstoppable in that first half, just really disciplined, as we kept saying. Their shape was good and maybe a little bit more aggressive than I've seen them in the last couple of weeks, but managed to get 3 goals on the board there. Second half, sort of switched things up with Comets throwing a few more players forward. They were a bit more focused on the counter-attack and did that pretty well. There's a little bit of distraction happening during the second half as well with that little tussle between Labasso and Arby Mollis, and also what was happening in the crowd opposite us. But ultimately, despite the late slip-up from MetroStars and conceding that one late, 5-1 still a pretty good result, and overall they'll be very pleased with their performance.
They certainly will be, and if you want more local football action, tune in tomorrow for the FK Beergrad Croydon game. I'm not sure what time that kickoff is. I'd say it probably around 3 or I think it's 5:30. You can catch that on YouTube and the FSA leagues. And then you can also catch the One Game at a Time podcast on Wednesday nights for all the breakdowns and the reviews and previews of the upcoming week. As Simon, thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you, mate. It was a pleasure. Good watching on a Saturday night.
Certainly was. And that's all from us here at TK Shutter Reserve with MetroStars running out 5-1 winners over Adelaide Comets. We'll see you next time.